We're doing it early. We're doing the early stuff. We're going live early. I just feel like doing it early. Just feel like doing it early. We're going live early. We are live early. What's going on, everyone? We'll let some more people swing in before we start going through this awesome report that I got kicking it right here. So I hope everyone's having an awesome Saturday, too. As promised, we were doing the oil stuff, so we'll give it a couple minutes. We'll let some people swing in. If anyone's got any questions while we're kicking it, waiting, hanging out, chilling, doing what we're doing, you can jump in. But if not, we'll relax. We'll kick it for a minute before going into this report. It's probably the best report that I've gotten so far. A little bit surprised by that, too. A little bit surprised that it's the best report that we've had, but not too worried about it. Not too worried about it. Let some people swing in and we'll jump into it. So how's everyone's Saturday doing? What's up, my dude? What up, Byron? How you doing, man? How you doing, my dude? Hope you're having a good Saturday, man. Mel, you're being called out in the chat. You commented the little eye emoji. Oh, okay. Oh, apparently that was just a test. Oh, so how's everyone's Saturday going? Hope everyone's having a killer, kicking it, relaxing, hanging out, chilling out Saturday. Generally, whenever it comes to these oil reports, typically I just shoot a video and upload the video on the oil analysis. I figured it'd be a little more fun to do the oil analysis live rather than just doing it as a video, uploading it, and then going through comments later on. It is Subi Saturday. What up, King Richard? How's your Saturday going, my dude? So I thought it would be a little bit more interactive, a little bit more fun to go through this report with everyone. And then as you guys have questions going through, we can definitely touch on the questions, talk about some oil. If you guys got some other questions, we can definitely dip into those because I was not able to get through all of the questions yesterday. Yo, Travis, what up, my dude? Hope you're having a good Saturday, man. Hope you're having a killer Saturday. Hope it's chill. Hope it's relaxing. Put my IAG equal length header and up pipe on as we talk. Ooh, very nice, my dude. Those sound like some fun mods to be throwing on. What up, Fox? How you doing, my dude? And can't wait to see how it turned out. Pretty good oil analysis, to be honest. What it do, sir? What up, Anthony? What's going on, my man? So honestly, this is the best oil analysis that we've gotten back so far from any of the oils that we have tested. So I am actually relatively shocked because this is the oil that was in the STI when we did the dyno tune. And I was expecting, because we were like really going hard on the car on the dyno, that the oil would break down a lot quicker and it would probably be one of the worst oil analysi that we have done. But honestly, this is by far the best oil analysis that we've gotten back. So this was on Motul's X-CESS 5W30 oil. This was ran in the STI for about 2,500 miles. And it's honestly fantastic. I'll post a link to a Google Doc drive. I'm going to archive all of these that I have in my email. I'll pull them all into a Google Doc drive. So that way, if anyone does want to go through these in the future, you guys can gladly take a look. I am obviously going to black out my address, phone number, and everything because I don't want some weird stuff coming through. Don't want some weird stuff coming over here. What up? Lance, I'm super late. Shit, you're not super late, dude. We just started 3 minutes ago. What is up? Hope you were having a good night. I just got caught up on the videos. Hey, what's going on, Logan? Glad you got caught up on them. I just got done editing another one that's going live tomorrow. It's probably going to be the most controversial video that I've posted on the channel, so it should be interesting to see how everyone interacts with it. What up, V? All right, so we've been, we'll go over the oil analysis at 5 minutes into the live stream, just so it gives a little bit of time for people to swing in. 5W30, this is with E85. Correct. This oil analysis report is on E85 and pump gas, so it's a little bit of mix of both of them between the 93 that we've been running and the E85 blends that we've been using. Rishi, Cartboy or Cobb, short throw shifter and bushing. Cartboy is always my suggestion. Personally, I don't like Cobb double adjustable shift knob. Used it before. It makes a god awful vibrating noise, and it's not fun to listen to. Oh, damn. Thanks for the shout out. Anytime, Lance. Anytime, my dude. King, driver side only, one bolt on the exhaust. Ooh, I know the struggle. Trying to get headers on, it's awful to get everything to line up appropriately and perfectly. It's not fun to work with. Eric, what up, dude? So you like the X-CESS or 300V, 5W30, Motul better, full regular 93 on a 2015 STI. I haven't tested the 300V yet. That is an oil that we will be testing. So right now at this time, I'm going to say Motul 5W30 just based off of the data that I have. So, I mean, it's that one's just going to be the one I pick because I haven't tested 300V yet. Cartboy is fun. Cartboy is always fun. I'm going to put my Subi in a car show in 2 months. It's my first show. I'm nervous. Any advice? Hey, just make sure you got the car super clean. If you don't want people getting their like grimy little fingertips all over it, a sign. I've seen a lot of people bring signs that say do not touch, that kind of stuff. But just have fun, dude. Walk around and kick it. I'm surprised with everything you're running. You're not running 5W40. I do have 5W40 in the car right now. That is going to be the next oil that I send out to Blackstone to have them test. But we're 5 minutes in, so let's start going over this oil analysis. So if you guys remember the last oil analysis video of the Motul 5W30 clean that we ran through the STI, the values were not ideal. There were some leading indicators that we potentially could have a ringland failure. Maybe some bearings were going out just based off of the metals and the values that we were seeing that came back last time. Looking at the report, copper was higher last time. Aluminum was higher last time. Boron was significantly lower than this oil analysis report. And if you guys are curious on what any of these metals mean or do in your oil, after this video ends, I will put in the description the very first oil analysis video that I did. It covers what every single oil or what every single metal value in your oil means. So that way, if you're curious just to see if you have any leading indicators of a failing engine, that way you can kind of cross-reference the metals for what your oil analysis reports go by. And for all these reports, as you guys know, I've been using Blackstone, super good company to work with. Turnaround time on oil analysis tests, it's typically like a week to a week and a half, so not terribly long. As for the rest of the metals, everything came back relatively within range and in the range we wanted it to compared to last time. Like I was saying, where did it just go? Dude, I hate pronouncing this one. The molybdenum, whatever that one is, came back extremely low compared to what we've seen before. We also had a lower flash point in the fuel that we were using, just kind of seeing what we were getting at from the oil. Our flash point did go back up to normal. So typically with what Blackstone is testing, they want to see a flash point above 385 degrees. For the oil, we were at 350 degrees. Last time is when the oil would flash. This time we were back up to 415 degrees. It may have just been the minerals and the materials in the E-clean oil versus the X-clean or the XCESS that went through the car this time. But their notes from what Blackstone said, it says, Tanner, this is another nice report for your STI. Metals remain low and are steady compared to the first two reports, which is a sure sign of a healthy engine. It was a pretty short interval. It was about 2,000 miles. So aluminum might be sunk between fills. It looks good, though. The 1.3% fuel dilution has cleared up, shown by the high flash point, which suggests it was indeed situational in nature and the fuel system issue. The trend for your EJ25 looks good. We hope to see more of the same in the future. So what Blackstone was saying with the last report is there was potentially fuel getting into the oil somewhere, and it was just mixing, which would lower the flash point just because gasoline has a much lower flash point than oil does. So that way when they go to test it, that means it's just going to ignite at a lower temperature than what the oil itself would actually ignite at. It takes quite a bit of heat and temperature to actually ignite oil. Like raw oil like that. Viscosity came back really good. Values should be between 9.1 and 11.3. We came back in at 11.11. Just super solid value for that one. That is at 100 degrees Celsius, which comes out to about 210 degrees Fahrenheit, and that was about 63.2, and we want to be in the range of about 56 to 63. So far, what we've seen off of this oil analysis for the 5W30 Motul has been far superior to anything that we've tested before. Prior to the Motul 5W30 XCESS, we did the E-clean, and then before that one, we did the Castrol. And the Castrol was the best oil that we had tested up until this point. Now that we have done this one, if you guys ask me any oil suggestions, I'm going to suggest this 5W30 XCESS to you guys just based off of these results. This was, keep in mind, between using pump gas and E85, but that shouldn't play too much of a factor into the oil unless it has to do with your flash point. So pretty good oil analysis report. Like I said, I didn't want to go and just shoot a video on this one. You guys watch the video, you guys comment down below. So if you guys do have any questions about any of this oil stuff, please feel free to drop it into the chat. We will definitely touch on it. If you guys have any other questions outside of just this oil stuff, feel free to throw it in there too, because I know I didn't get through everyone's questions yesterday just because we went like way over time. There's a lot of questions being thrown in there, but it is all good. And like I said, after this, I'll put a Google Doc drive with all of these oil analysis reports. So that way, if you guys want to cross-reference anything for any oil that you might be testing or might be looking at in the future, you guys can definitely do so. But oil analysis stuff, always fun. We'll swing through some comments. I saw a couple oil ones come up down there at the bottom. We'll get through those ones after we get through some of these earlier comments while I was just rambling on about oil stuff. We touched on that one. Where Cardboard's fun. There we go. So we're right here. I'm surprised with everything you're running. Okay, yeah. So with this one, I am running 5W40 in the STI right now just because I have been like beating on the car a little bit more, as we all know, from the clutch dying on us. So the 40 grade is just a higher temperature aspect of the oil, so it can take the heat a little bit more and the beating a little bit more. The 5W30 held up just fine, and that was ripping on it. So I'm expecting the 5W40 analysis when we get that one back after I send out that sample to be even better. That's a really weird noise. I'm expecting the 5W40 test to come back a lot better than this 5W30 test did, but we'll see when those results come back. We'll do another live stream covering the 5W40 in comparison to this 5W30 as well, just to see if it does beat it out. I'm hearing the audio encoding sputter that everyone was complaining about yesterday. I think it's just the mouse. I think it might be the mouse. Sounds almost like you have a bad ground on your audio connection. Everything's plugged in like super solid, my dude. Super solid. Everything's plugged in. Might be the mic. I might have to grab another mic in the future or swap out to this other mic that we have in here. Moles. Did you have the chance to cut your filter open and see how it looked? I don't typically cut the filters open in my oil just because I've done it in the past. But if you guys want to see the inside of the filter next time I go to change it, I can definitely do that. I use the same filters pretty much every single time. I either use the Prova, the big Mazda filters, or another similar filter in size. I'm not a huge fan of the OEM STI filter, or the OEM Subaru filters alone. They're just really small filters. You can get some decent life out of them, but I've just seen like cleaner filters after 3,000 miles using the Mazda ones, the Prova ones, and the Cuscos. But next time I go to do it, I will definitely cut it open, and I'll show you guys the inside of that one as well, so that way you can kind of get a representation of what's going on inside of the oil filter for these oils. But I do like the idea. If I would have thought of that without you bringing it up, I probably wouldn't have done it. So appreciate you dropping that in there, my dude. Difference in 5W30 and 5W40 isn't huge, though. You're right. It isn't a huge jump, but it does have better heat protection up a little bit higher. So if you are beating on your car a little bit more, you are driving it a little bit harder, that 5W40 might be enough to just give a little extra lubrication and a little extra protection long-term, depending on how long you go between oil changes. Personally, in the UK, top runners recommend Shell Helix Ultra 5W40 on a stock block. I've actually never heard of Shell Helix Ultra. That is one that I'm definitely going to be looking into. On the EG build, we're going to be running 5W40 the entire lifespan of that engine, so we will continue doing oil analysis reports through that one once that one is up and running too. Is there any info about the X-Clean EFE on the oil sheet? X-Clean I ran on the last oil analysis. So if you go back to the last oil analysis video we did, that one was the X-Clean. So if you want all the information regarding that one is already posted up on the channel for your viewing pleasure, my friend. It's definitely not the mouse. Interesting. It's not the mouse. You were holding it up. You could hear it crackle. Weird. I'm not sure why it's doing that then. I will play with the mic after this, and I'll do a couple test audio things and see if it's YouTube or if it's the microphone. I don't think that it's the microphone, but I'll play around with it a little bit and I'll see what the issue might be. Opinions on MA Performance OTS tunes. MA Performance OTS tunes are no different than Cobb OTS tunes. They're just made for MA Performance's parts versus Cobb parts. So in actuality, they're not going to be really any different than any other OTS tune out on the market. They're just making them for their own parts. Okay, so stock oil pan coming off now for Killer B setup. That is not a fun job to do. You have to jack up the whole engine a little bit, and those back 4 bolts are going to be a nightmare to get out. Good luck, King. I wish you the best of luck getting that oil pan off. It is definitely not fun to do. Crackle died off, though. The crackle died off. I'm guessing it's YouTube, maybe. I'm not quite sure what this crackle is. Snap, crackle, pop. It's Rice Krispies, man. Cool live stream, 5W40. Thank you, my dude. 5W40. That one should be coming out here in the next couple weeks. I'll probably pull a sample out of the car next weekend to send out to Blackstone. So in about 2 weeks, we should have the 5W40 results back, and we can do that live stream to cover all those. But after you touched it, it lessened a little bit. Maybe it is the USB connection. I'm not entirely sure. Would it be worth it to get tuned for race gas. If you can get race gas regularly, then by all means, it's not a bad idea to be able to run it if you want it. Higher octane is never a bad thing as long as you are properly tuned for it and you are good to go. Mr. Subaru has a good video on filters, and Mazda comes out on top. The Mazda filters kill it. The Mazda filters are so nice. They are large, they are in charge, and they have a lot of oil capacity to be able to keep the oil clean for a little bit longer. Would you use your E85 have been responsible for any changes in your oil analysis? Personally, I think the only change that the E85 would have played a factor in for this oil analysis would be the flash point of the oil. Outside of that, I don't see the E85 messing with the oil analysis any more than it should. I mean, the 85 is going to burn cooler in the engine, and it's going to have some cooling effect inside of the block, but I don't think it's going to play too much of a factor on the oil itself. But just from a theoretical standpoint, looking at it, I don't see the 85 changing anything other than the flash point of the oil. Also, opinion. Gee, why am I not highlighting stuff? YouTube is encoding audio issues, not the mic. Oh, I see. I see you, YouTube. I see you doing this stuff. How am I doing the engine management on the STI swap you're doing? Very good question. I don't fully know yet. It's either going to be one of two ECUs that we're going to be running on the EG33. It's either going to be a Motec or a Haltech, depending on which one is more budget friendly, that retains more of the CAN bus features of the car. After doing this EG33 swap, I do want to retain a lot of the OEM features of the car, such as like power doors, power windows, all of like the amenities of having a newer car. So having an ECU that works with the CAN bus system better is what I want to get out of doing this swap. Like I said, though, it's all going to come down to price and which system has more CAN bus features to be able to work with the ECU and the chassis itself. Just wanted to let you know they just released new Motul Gen 2. I didn't even know that they released a new Motul Gen 2, but I will definitely snag some of that, and we will definitely test that. While the STI is down, we are going to continue doing these oil analysis tests. I'm just going to be running them through the BRZ instead. We'll probably be doing 5W30 or 5W40 in the BRZ, so we are still going to be continuing these oil analysis reports. I know that Subaru OEM recommends 0W20 in the BRZ, but now that we're going to be boosting it, I do want to run a little bit of a thicker oil in that engine. So the oil analysis will continue just in a different engine for a short period of time. What is my take on engine flushes? Just tried some liquid moly. My oil seems cleaner, but it might be snake oil. What do you mean by engine flushes? Like cleaning out all the old fluids, replacing up new ones? Is that what you're trying to get at on that one, Ann? And Lance, bro, I use Royal Purple 5W30 in my stock 2019, and it runs awesome. I trust you, man. I'm going to switch. Personally, whenever it comes to Royal Purple, I went over this yesterday in yesterday's live stream a little bit, but I don't like Royal Purple. After having one bad experience with an oil when it comes out like super coagulated, it's a huge turnoff to using that oil, and I just didn't want to keep running it. So for me, I tend to steer away from Royal Purple. I try to get other people to stay away from Royal Purple. I just don't want anyone else to have coagulated oil like I had come out of my old 350Z in their STIs or their WRXs or whatever they're driving. It's just not a good thing to have. It's going to clog a lot of stuff. Maybe I just had, like I said yesterday, maybe I just had a bad batch of Royal Purple, but I have no idea. But for me, Royal Purple is always a no-go. Opinion on block-off plate for the blow-off valve. Have heard mixed reviews and standpoints on not running a bypass valve. If you want my completely honest opinion, I'll give you both opinions here. I'll give you like the tuner's opinion, and I'll give you like my personal opinion. For the tuner's opinion of not running a blow-off valve or a bypass valve, I wouldn't suggest it. You want the ECU to be able to compensate for the error that it thinks it's seeing after it passes the math, and it needs to go somewhere. Plus, you're going to be having a lot of compressor surge going back through the turbo, which isn't always a bad thing. It's not always going to damage your turbo, and I'm not saying it is, but there is always a possibility that it will wear out the turbo a little bit quicker. Now, from my standpoint, like what I prefer the idea of not running a blow-off valve or a bypass valve, but it is not the most performance-friendly option. You're going to be pushing a lot of air back through, like we just talked about, back through the compressor of the turbo. You get that really nice compressor surge, but for performance aspects, it's just not the best out there. I did that on my 1993 GTST Type M, my old Skyline. Sounded incredible I mean, I didn't care really about the performance of that car. It was really just a fun car for me. But as long as you are okay with giving up the performance aspect of it, you are properly tuned for it, and you don't mind having potentially increased wear on the turbo, you should be totally fine to do it. Just speak with your tuner. A lot of tuners are going to advise you against doing so, which is kind of why I touched on the tuner aspect of it. But just keep that in mind when you are debating doing it or not. Motul XCESS Gen 2, I will definitely get that one on the test list. What was the analysis just rolled in? After this has been posted, I'd suggest scrolling back through, but one of the best reports that we've had, super good values with this X-CESS 5W30 compared to the eClean EFE that we tested before and the Castrol. So this kind of blows the Castrol that we tested out of the water. All values came back like well within range. Flashpoint went back to where we needed it to for the oil, and it is just a happy and healthy oil analysis test. Blackstone was very honest in their tests, so I like going through them. They said that it was... Yeah, they said it was one of the best tests that I've sent them so far, and they hope to see more of them. But like I also said, I'll link all these in a Google Docs either tonight or tomorrow, and I'll put it in the description of this video, and I'll probably add it over to the community tab so that way if any of you guys want to go cross-reference any of these, you can. Just keep in mind that oil analysis tests will definitely vary per engine and per vehicle, so just keep that in mind whenever you guys are cross-referencing them. I was looking at Hall Tech, then having iWire make me a harness, so it plugs right into the stock harness, but I have a different bulkhead motor connector. But CAN bus stuff is weird to me. I totally feel it. I talked to iWire. iWire was not on board. They did not want to really get into this project of swapping the EG33 into the STI. So whenever it comes to the wiring aspects, we are pretty much going to be on our own for this. We will figure it out somehow. I don't quite know how, but if I have to stare at wiring diagrams for hours on end to make it work, we will definitely do it. But when I sent them an email, they were like, yeah, it's just not a project that we really want to stand behind because the end result just isn't something that we'd want to promote to people, just because not every function of the CAN bus system would still be operating after the swap, which I told them, I was like, I fully expect some of the features to not be working. But like I said, when it comes to the wiring, we're kind of on our own in the dark on that one, but we will do everything we can in our own power to make our own wiring harnesses, to make our own connectors, plugs. We're going to update the engine to have all like newer modern OBD2 sensors, so that way everything communicates as like smoothly as it can, and try to get away from anything that's OBD1 or pre-OBD1. But it'll be a interesting mess of wires. Get ready for like a whole like series of just wiring stuff. It's going to be awful. It's going to be great, but it's going to be awful to wire. I spotted a 9801 JD MWX driving around my area tonight. Popped a semi. Oh, I see what you're saying there, Tim. Nice. Not bad. There's a silver one that rolls around Puyallup, Tacoma areas every now and then. Has anybody here ever ended up with a melted coil pack wiring harness? Coil pack number 3 melted along with said connector. I've seen some melt before, but it's typically because the small pop clip on the wiring harness or the connector just kind of pops off, dingle-dangles around in the engine base, touches something hot, and starts to melt. It's a little bit of a pain, but what you can do is try to backtrack that wiring harness, get it up and out enough where you can cut, solder on new connections, or at least new wires with a new coil pack, get it back in, and it should work just fine. LOL, Tim. You probably talked about this already, but what's your opinion on running Rotella T6? I just switched to it from AM's Oil 5W30. My OE STI, I'm finding much better so far. So I've used Rotella T6 for years. Honestly, never had any issues with it at all. I know it's a diesel oil. It's a much thicker, viscous oil. Well, it's not much thicker. It is more viscous than 5W30 is. But from what I can infer and what I understand from it is the minerals in the Rotella T6 do take longer to break down versus normal oil since it is diesel oil. So in theory, it should lubricate longer and better. Rotella T6 is one of the oils that we are going to be testing, so don't even worry about it. We will get a test done on the Rotella T6 to actually find out with actual data to see what the oil actually is like after it's been ran for 3,000 miles. Wow, really, damn, bro. I feel like a jerk. I'm not running Royal Purple no more. Often, thank you. Yeah, anytime, dude. That's just my personal experience with Royal Purple. Like I said, some people may have other experiences with it than I did. But ever since I just had that one negative experience with it, I tend to stay away from it. iWire hates CAN bus stuff. They do hate CAN bus stuff, unfortunately. Awesome. I run that with a quart of 10W30 in it. Ooh, not bad. I live downtown in Richland, not far from you. Down to Hellpoint, because I need it done for. Interesting with the wiring. I feel it, my dude. Love wiring. Fox, how do you love wiring? I hate wiring. Looking forward to seeing the progress. It'll definitely be interesting to see the progress. There's a 95 SVX out in a junkyard that I'm going to be going to check out early next week. I'd like to get the engine harness off of it, as well as some other brackets, other connectors, and like that. And I'll shoot a video going out to pick and pulling all this stuff off of this old SVX. But we're going to salvage what we can off of that engine and make it work for hours. Oh my God, you're such a sick man. We will figure it out. We will figure it out, dude. We're not going to be beat by some wiring on an engine from the 90s. We can definitely figure it out. That was silver as well, but I'm in VA. Ooh, what if they just drove all the way to Virginia from here? You never know. Thanks for helping, man. Anytime, my dude. Black Raven, yo, Smeedia, wife and I are huge fans. 16WX down STI. Keep up the great work. Would you suggest trying to hit 400 horsepower on a 16 without going forged engine? You should be fine trying to hit a 400 on a stock FA. I've seen people run low fives, high fours on the stock FA. It's really going to come down to tuning, what you have done to the car, what your setup is. But it's definitely possible. I've seen people do it all the time on E85. If you have access to E85, it's definitely going to be a lot easier to hit that 400 wheel horsepower mark with a stock FA. Ah, there you are. Hello. I thought that stream wouldn't happen tonight. Well, here we are, my friend. It is happening tonight. It is happening right now. We are here. We are here. We are live. We are doing the stream. I'm building an EJ 257 short block with EJ 253 heads and a supercharger. Wyatt, give me some more information on that supercharger. Who makes the supercharger and how is this mounting on it? I've seen a few supercharged 6-cylinders, but I don't think I've ever seen a supercharged 4-cylinder on a Subaru, at least. We'll see. Drop some more info. You can't just leave us hanging like that. I'm curious on the supercharger setup that you're talking about. What's up? What's up, Jose? I'm hitting up the junkyard tomorrow morning. Hey, that's what's up, my dude. Sometimes junkyards just have really good finds. They have good finds. I don't mind building a harness or repairing wiring. I just hate diagnosing. The thing that I'm not looking forward to on the wiring for the EG33 and the STI is trying to merge a wiring harness that was for a 95 into a 2017 and trying to make everything work properly. It's going to have its challenges, and it's definitely going to be interesting to try to do, but we will, like I said, we're going to make it work as best as we can, and DIYing everything, because it's not something that iWire wants to touch, and I totally understand why they don't want to touch it, but we're going to get it. Raptor SC, I'm guessing Raptor supercharger from Australia. Really cool, mostly stock setup. I have a 2006 2.5i and want more power without going full turbo. I got the short block cheap using my head and cams, unsure of wiring. That'll be a 6 setup. That'll definitely be a 6 setup once you get the supercharger in there. Keep in touch. Send me some photos after you get it going, my dude. I'd love to see it. Send me a list of SVX stuff you were trying to find. I'm gonna hit the first. Ooh, I don't quite know yet. I know I need the engine harness. I know I need like the alternator bracket and some other small brackets. I need to visually look at a complete EG33, be like, I need this, I need that, I need this. I need to start like compiling a list. Photos are helpful too. I'll see what I can find, Jose, my dude. I will definitely PayPal you if you can get any of the parts that I'm looking for. Hey, since you have a built engine, are you running 5W40? I don't have a built. Since you have a built, I don't have a built engine, my dude. I have stock engine, but 5W40, in theory, it's a thicker oil, which in theory will hold up to heat better, which will provide better lubrication longer. So 5W40 is always a suggestion. It'll be running 85 and 15 PSI of boost. How small of a pulley does that? Like, I don't know much about superchargers. I know pulley size dictates how much boost you make, but 15 PSI boost, not a bad amount. I'll grab major accessory stuff for the SVX and harness too. You need the headers too. I do not need the headers. We have a local shop that are going to be working with called Blue Collar Fab. They come in the live stream every once in a while. Or Fuse Fabrication. I'm going to have one of them make the complete header setup for us from scratch. It'll be super awesome. It'll be super clean. Probably do it out of stainless steel or something. I don't know. Whatever material they suggest using. They're the fabricators. I just bring the car. I'm like, hey, teach me how to do this stuff, and then we're going to do the stuff. But this is a shorter live stream tonight because we are doing the bi-weekly live stream tomorrow. So I have to hop off. I'm going to do a photo shoot with the BRZ because I have not taken any photos of anything in quite a while. Fox, last question, which ECU are you using? Either Haltech or Motec? I don't quite know yet. But like I said, very short live stream today, half hour, not too bad. Tomorrow at 12 PST will be the bi-weekly live stream. It'll go either an hour or an hour and a half long. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to swing through that live stream tomorrow. But I hope everyone has an awesome Saturday night. If you got any questions for tomorrow's live stream, please bring them through. Live stream tomorrow is 12 o'clock PST. I don't know what time that is around the rest of the world. I know like Eastern time, it's like 3 o'clock. Outside of the US, I'm not entirely sure, but that is the game plan. So like I said, you guys got any questions, swing through the stream tomorrow, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Ric Flair woo. Woo!